Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Benjamin Zulu Show. Now, I don't know who the headmaster is, the prefect, the principal, the chief, the president of society that came up with rules that, oh, you know, at a certain age, this is what's supposed to happen. If it doesn't happen, or we will ask you, or we will question you, or we will do all these things. There is always societal pressure left, right, center. Now, how do you keep calm? How do you find your peace? I am in to learn because the pressure is real. Benjamin Zulu. This is my sermon.
I know. Let's begin by saying this. There's a part that has not been prepared because society does not expect it. The period during which you are single and you're not ready for settling, or you are not settled yet, or you have not found. Sometimes you're single because you may be ready, but you have not found the one. Mm-hmm. Other times you are not looking because you're not ready. Are we together?
Yes.
Those are very valid reasons, but they are not emphasized in society. Mm-hmm. Nobody prepares you for them because parents want to make sure you're growing normally. They want to see you getting a child and bringing a person so they can tell their friends that hey, my daughter now has a child. It's a merry-go-round for them to go around wedding their children off. It's a merry-go-round of sorts. And when your age mates, the one they gave birth the same time with the other woman there, now mine, I'm not sure, but I've not heard. Sometimes they also fear, is she normal? I mean, is that guy normal? Is he straight? So there's a lot of fear in their minds that they're crossing their fingers. In fact, sometimes when they hear that you made somebody pregnant, for you it may be shocked that you did it to the wrong person.
So then they're like, yes,
he's normal. You know,
my son is okay.
At least he's not attracted to men. So, where they are coming from, you need to appreciate it so that we can come to tell you what is the right way and how to balance the pressure, because they too have their pressure. Sometimes they're transferring to us what they're being put. Mm-hmm. How is your child doing? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean,
so have you seen my son? My son is he works at a bank.
You know, you talk about the second child now. I have a second grandchild. Yeah. Let me tell you, sometimes your mom is receiving pressure from many quarters. And sometimes she's asking the questions she's hearing all over. Let me tell you the problem. Our society has not emphasized personal development. There was no provision made to become yourself. It was assumed that college does that. In fact, they tell you as soon as you arrive at college, get somebody. And it was assumed that all learned people are compatible. Let me tell you the mistakes that they are doing there. I know them. I've been there. Don't think I'm not a graduate. I am a graduate of this school. So I'm speaking like an alumnus. In fact, a fresh one. I just graduated the other day. So they assume when you are surrounded by learned people, you should marry there. Because you learned people know how to live together. Yes. It's assumed that all people in the university come from the same class. They cut from the same feather. Yeah, she's a degree person.
Do I just like you with someone who's doing business?
You know.
Did they go to university?
So many of our parents, the university is a new phenomenon. Many of them, yes, might have gone to university, but it was not that common. It is our time when we are being identified by graduations, university and college. There's a vast generation in Africa where you're having every village there's a graduate, at least in most of the places. And it's assumed, in fact, many people marry because they are the only graduates from that village. Be careful. Please be careful. It was proposed by your mothers and it was organized somehow to make sure you interact closely. A glue was cultivated. Please, I know. I know. And mothers are notorious for that. Make sure you interact somehow. This girl has a future. Yeah, she's in university. This girl has a future. And you know, and another common combination is KDF, the military people. That job is, people don't understand it. So they only, with a touch of fear and distance. So they exude power and discipline and future and, you know, I mean, we have seen a few big people from the army and we assume everybody is big there.
Yes.
Some come home with troop of cars, you know, motorcade. And because they live low-key, they're not loud, they're not political, they don't shout. You just hear they were around. They come, quiet, and they go.
The mystery you are talking about.
It inspires the mystery. You know. In many places, when you find that there's an army barracks, there's also a KMTC around, and they date a lot. Nurses, their favorite. Nurse students, really, not university, KMTC. I've noticed that trend.
Zulu.
This is my space. I studied day by day. many of those who entered the most horrible, incompatible, wrong marriages, it was that wave of the parents of the KDF guy are very okay if he says he's dating a nurse.
Yes.
And the nurse is almost expected to get somebody from, you know, and they don't realize the seasons of their life. I wrote a whole article, and maybe we'll go back there to tell the military people the progression of their life. They are quite different from police, although their training takes nearly almost the same time, but the experiences of what they become is very different because the KDF are cut from the civil society. The police are prefects, monitors among us. So they live among us and you see them every day. But their life also has a particular because of the arms. With the police is the arms, the fact that they are armed. And if somebody has a tendency to do things they can do, and also their job, they're transferred a lot without a lot of notices. They are moved up and down.
Yes.
And also, many times people don't understand how many departments there are. The prisons people and the traffic are very different.
Yes.
The regular police and the administration police are very different.
That's true.
And you need to understand, and the kind of money they're paid and the job group they're in, you need to understand the life they're in and what they can do or what they cannot do. You need to understand some of these things as you date there. You need to know what you're dealing with.
Yes.
Professions affect you. Don't say, I don't care the profession. The profession affects you. What you study, what you do daily shapes your world view. You need to know that, please. Don't ignore what the world view. Some professions are very tribalistic. They believe, oh, this tribe is like this. The moment you mention your Maasai, they put you in a bracket because from their job, that's how they talk. That's the tradition. That's the internal culture, the intra-culture. Some professions are so intermixed, especially the professors, doctors, that's the PhD group. When you hear doctors, professors, they're not exactly tribal. What they are is they want to know what is your intellectual acumen and how much can you engage in reason. How many papers have you published? Which journal? Local or international?
So they have a Facebook page. Alright, I have a blog.
So, many parents coming from home, the perception was all learned people should marry. And number two, they were afraid that if you come out of that catchment pool, I saw somebody arguing that university is the best place to date because that's the only time you're surrounded by many single people who are learned, who also have a future. You know, you come out in the village, we are all mixed, some are learned, some are not. So you guys are birds of the same feather. So of course that person was an outsider.
Okay.
The argument is so ignorant and blanket. This is the rule, Mwikali. How to explain why you're not moving forward and you look ripe in the eyes of society.
Yes, please.
Number one, dodging. Avoid the situations where questions will come up.
That means no Christmas, no New Year's.
No, you sure?
No visiting from aunties.
There's a period in your life, especially between 26 to 35.
Yes.
That period is considered by society when you should be settling.
Yeah.
And they don't care what you're doing with your life and how you're changing society. They just care whether you have a child or you're married. I was asked those questions. I started the first method. I discovered it by necessity.
How did
I'm telling you what I used.
Oh my goodness.
These are not the things I Googled. It's my life. Dodging. Dodging in basketball, you can either spike, hit the ball with force. Not basket, volleyball.
Yes.
When you are given the ball, you can either spike it, but the defenders will have seen you are spiking and they'll prepare for it.
Yes.
So sometimes if you don't want to engage, you look for a small space and throw the ball without force and sneak it in.
Yes.
Sometimes I would avoid the engagement by cleverly avoiding, because you can always sense who is likely to ask. Where the conversation will come up. Yes. Sometimes it's not a question, it's the direction of the conversation. People are reporting about their families.
Please pick up.
And then the line comes to you. And then it's very quiet on your end.
They're all anticipating to hear.
You know, and you know, they keep saying, we can't wait to see what it is. We can't wait to see what it is. You know, they keep, you know, and my junior sister is married. The next one has married. And the beginning one... So,
you know, we took you to the university.
You know, and grandmother is telling you she's dying and she'd like to see your child.
That's the highest.
Please be careful when people tell you they're dying. And they make you feel like you're the one delaying their dying wishes by not bringing a child. So, and I was not merciless or heartless, but I said, if the schedule of your life does not coincide with my getting married, Please,
Yes.
at some point you have to be practical. You don't verbalize it,
No.
but you know it. I'm not the cause of your death, and I did not determine when you were born and when you died, when I will get. Please, these are timelines of life. They may overlap or they might not overlap. I will not rush anything to fulfill your dying wishes. Then me, I remain with a living regret. Please, now. So politely, I would bring Granny a kg of sugar. Oh, the sugar. Now, when you bring your wife, no, when you bring your wife, that's what I will do. Yes, we will do it. In fact, soon I will come like that. You know, you can't tell them directly. You can't.
No, you can't.
So now, with my parents, with your direct parents, you have to create this is the second principle. You have to establish a precedent that you are not easy to harass, pressure, guilt trip, push. And you need to answer in a manner that says, in future, avoid those kind of questions. I'm an adult. This is how you put it, in a subtle way. If a person is persistent, with sisters and brothers, rebuke them directly. Are we together?
Yes, 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 please. And if they're younger, don't you dare.
The siblings, put them in a place earlier on in the day. Those are easy battles, and you should not waste time with the squirrels.
No.
So, sis, when are you bringing somebody? Like who? Okay. No, I just meant, you know, your cousin, excuse me. I've not lost my mind. When the time comes, it will come. For now, can we talk about your school? How are you doing? They know that's a non-go zone. So with siblings, don't waste time telling me your siblings are pressuring you. Siblings are nobody. They're in the same power zone. In terms of family hierarchy, these are colleagues and classmates. They're not even prefects.
We're the same.
Exactly. Now, with the grandparents, play dodging. Because many of them are very important. Your name's after them. They wanted to see you move on. You know they mean well. It's their world view.
Yes.
That you are very grown. By when they are your age, they already had that child.
That is true.
They can know how times have changed. And they're looking forward and all that. Unfortunately, all my grandparents died before they saw.
Oh.
But they'd seen me and helped me. That's what God had designed. Can you also allow God to plan your life? Are we together?
Yes, please.
Don't modify your life. Let God arrange things. Okay?
Yes,
So I always say, if God wishes, that's a good way to hide. When those, it's not always the direct grandma. There's that age group. And they see you as their grandchild.
Even the neighbors, they brought you up.
I mean,
They have stories about you and your naughtiness as a child.
and some of them have been actually your cheerleaders.
Yes.
They've been praising you to people, so you may not directly refuse to. Just keep that age group that is too old to understand some things. Play the dodging game.
We were raised up well.
Exactly. The second principle with the parents, and they are the highest source of pressure. In fact, they can send you to depression. Please take some water.
Yes.
Parents feel like they have a duty to make sure you're growing normally.
According to who? What is this normal?
Yes, the pre-existing normal. You need to align. So what happens with parents is you need to respectfully, but with finality, state your position.
Okay.
Let your mom or dad, whoever is close, sometimes dads are hands off.
Yes.
They only hint from afar.
Oh, I will tell you about my father.
You know. They only hint from a distance. They have some diplomacy. Especially if you have never been that personal. They will keep, you hope, but they will not directly bring it up. They'll drop hints.
They're very diplomatic.
Yeah, so they will never be really quite the source of pressure for you. Now, the parent who is on your case, you need to transport your philosophy. And this is what you shall say.
Okay.
Tell them, you know what, for me, we have never been that, so mom never pressured me.
Okay.
It is her representatives.
The aunties.
She has very powerful representatives. You know, my sister and I, referring to your mom, and go to your judgment. That is this.
And you got married.
You know, they're coming politely, but you can sense they're representing several people. Sometimes they can even call. You know, we are waiting. My goat is ready. I'm preparing a goat and a chicken. You know, I can't wait. They're promising support, but they want to mine information on behalf of some other quarters. So what I do, I don't want those back and round things. I want you to transport your philosophy. And this is how you shall put it. Tell them that you actually, because their fear is you may never get married. Tell them you actually intend to get married someday. In other words, you're saying you're normal. Are we together? And you tell them that you value also being developing your career to a good extent, and you also value God's timing. Faith is also a safe place to hide.
Yes, beautiful place.
You know,
who can argue with God? Is he here?
So you tell them you also want to go with the timings of God, and you don't mind taking your time, and that when the time comes, sometimes you preempt when you know it's on their mind. And they don't want to ask, time has gone, the other year has gone, the other year has gone, the other year has gone. You can bring it up yourself. Years can go. 1 year, the child of your younger one is now going to nursery.
Yes.
And
yes.
It begins to look like the bigger one, the big auntie. You know, I stayed to be that uncle.
You know, and you end up being the favorite uncle.
You know,
you're just there, you're playful, you're still young.
So, but you're also very, you must be elusive. Don't be easy to pin.
Okay.
Because you're not moving with a group and family and cars and many things, you should be able to sneak in and out. Remember the first principle.
Yes. Yes.
Don't be so easy. When you have a family, it's a group that is moving. So they can know the family is here, I've seen the children, where's the wife? So you can, but when you don't have family, you just, being single makes you can slither in and out. Can sneak in and out. And sometimes I'll use motorbikes on purpose.
So that you
to sneak in on purpose and before words go around. Has he come with someone? Before those questions,
then you're out.
So how come we did not see you last? Oh, sorry, I did some sugar. How come this? So this second thing is tell those who deserve to know, who you think they have a right sort of, you have journeyed with you. Sometimes it's a very important uncle, a very important auntie. It's a person who was a parent in your life, and you know they're looking forward to that. You can bring up the conversation yourself and transport to them your philosophy.
Yeah.
Either the first reason that you're not ready there yet. And many mature people will appreciate that.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I want it right now. I'm not there yet. When I'm there yet, I'll tell you. Another thing is, I'm waiting until I meet the right person. Many people, they're in this second group, but the group that takes 20 years while searching, I'll tell you where they are. They're confused. They're neither in the first group or second group. You should always know, why am I single?
Yes.
I don't feel like I have the capacity now. I'm not there yet. You should always know that.
Yes.
I'm not sure that I have the capacity for marriage. Marriage is demanding. Having a person on your mind, on your life every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
It's easy to sleep with a person, but waking with the same person every day? No,
Yes,
that's another thing.
Yes. Yes.
And I told you to respect anybody who tells you they don't have the emotional capacity for marriage.
Yes.
They're not abnormal. I'm happy for a person who chooses a happy single life than the one who drifts into marriage and prepared for it, then it's a hell.
Yeah.
And children grow, they're scarred. And they touch another person. No, don't drift in there just thinking of what you get out of it. Listen to yourself. In fact, try to, before you lift some weight, you check how much, whether you...
Yes.
Try to check whether you have the energy for... Please. Please.
Check, please.
Please. And then sometimes, for me, what took me longer is, I knew, yes, if I marry, maybe I can hustle it along, but who am I marrying?
Yeah. Yeah. Very important question. This is the rest of your life.
Yes. So for about 7 years I stayed because I was not prepared. But for 3 years I stayed because I was prepared, but I had not found the one.
Okay.
And I was searching actively. So those people take loans because they are ready, but they are not actively searching. Now, be careful before you sound like you are looking for help, because they'll start sending you funny suggestions. When they know another single person of your age approximately, they assume you should be able to work together. All right?
Yes.
So with the parents and respectable people, take the initiative to explain your philosophy, your reasoning. And when you make it sober in a mature way, even on phone, can tell, let me tell you something, uncle. And in fact, thank you for bringing that up. I was intending to update you. When you bring that tone, I hear you, my son. I know.
They won't argue with you.
In fact,
very straightforward.
People only pressure you when they are in the group. Yeah, they're shouting in between. When you pinpoint one, and you state your position, in fact, it will never come back to you. These others you can rebuke directly because they are nobody to you. You have nothing to lose. So the third principle is your friends, those who you have friends and they married.
Yes.
They start updating you in a very annoying way. And when you talk every time, my husband, You know?
Can we hang out this weekend?
And you are the third wheel. You know, you're just there. So many times the pressure that will actually bother you will not be coming from home, to be coming from people you have been together for long.
That is true.
And they have transitioned ahead of you. They have crossed over. I told you some people will marry quickly because their selectiveness is low.
Yeah.
Their requirements are few. And they will marry quickly.
Yep.
Some you will have mentored them and it will look like a mockery. The one who was the mentor was overtaken by the mentees. It will look bad. In fact, when you think about it, you can feel bad. You will grow up, you will grow them up and they will marry and leave you there.
You know?
And I'll tell you the reason. The person who is going farther takes longer to prepare.
That is true.
I want you to know that. And I'm not saying those who marry early or anything. I'm saying the length of time it takes to prepare when you are conscious of your destiny. The selectiveness, how keen you are to detail is very different. And I want you to make peace with that fact.
Yeah.
I came to understand in retrospect why it was taking me long. In retrospect, I was dating consciously. Many people date emotionally. It's who feels.
Yeah.
Imagine, people marry butterflies.
That is the truth. You want sparks.
People
Fireworks.
marry because they got, or they stay together as something until they get entangled and attached and stuck. Many people didn't marry out of choice. They got stuck until time found them there. Time can go until, and who else is here? You. I told you to be careful with your reputation. Don't date for 3 years because you become socially attached, connected, associated with that person. And we assume you are taken.
Yes.
We know you and Simon have been together for 4 years. And you were not sure about Simon, you were passing time. These long-term relationships, you cheat yourself into a bad union. A friend of mine wanted to buy a car someday in the future, and an uncle had a car he wanted to phase out. So he gave him to be using. He intends to sell in the future. My friends also intend to buy in the future.
I see how this is going.
In about 1 year or so, I think I'll have saved enough to buy a car.
Yes.
And my friend and my uncle, I should be selling this car by next year. Why don't you test? Yeah, let me test it. So he began to use it so frequently until when it came time to buy, by all rationale, he had to buy the uncle's car, which was old and ultimately a bad deal.
Yes.
The money he paid, he could have bought a very good, better, newer car.
Yes.
But having used it without a proper arrangement for a while, it has become morally obligated
for you to buy it.
That's how people marry. Having known you'll marry in the future, and this person also will look in the future. In the meantime, you start something that is not very flamboyant. Because of it looks like betrayal not to buy my car when you have given you.
How will you say you can? Now you want to give it back to me?
No.
Are you going to pay for how you've used it?
That's the thing with long-term relationships. They bend you, bias you towards purchasing where you have been using, receiving small favors in exchange for very big favor. Avoid small favors.
Yes, please.
They're actually a trade-off for something bigger. Something bigger. My pastor told me something I'll never forget. In church, we had this habit of this guy has this girlfriend. It's not really sexual, but it's a relationship.
Yes.
They're together. We are known, we are something. So, over time, he noticed my closeness with one of the girls in the praise and worship. She was my best singer, dancer, and also the closeness, emotional connection, and all that. We begin to imagine there's a future and all that. I'm in the university, this girl is in the secondary school. And my pastor used a word I'll never forget. She told me, you see, you are a growing tree and you are high-flying eagle. From my assessment of potentials, this girl has no potential. Okay, I don't mean badly. I also want to help her and pray for her to have a future. But compared to you,
she was in secondary school. What did the pastor say?
We wanted to have hopes as Christians that all of us are going far in life. But he helped me separate two things that I would never have seen otherwise.
Okay.
And that's one reason I always respect these men of God. They mentor us for free. They counsel us for free. Okay, there are some who are not honest, and those are the ones who go to news. But most of us know we were mentored and shaped by these servants of God. I respect them because they are social workers, counselors, they are donors. They do everything for free. And one of my aim in life is to have enough money to support them.
Yeah.
They work so hard. Many of them are very sincere, but they're not famous. Remember, I don't know whether it's you I was telling that. Most of God's decorated generals will be people who are hardly known.
But you told me that.
Please, let's stop clapping for these charismatic people. Some of us who are famous think we are there. Let me tell you, there are some people you meet at the end of our journey. You'll be embarrassed. You'll be embarrassed. Because we are contented to work without claps. As we have fans, we have numbers and likes and trending. And which reward that really attention. You're trending, you're very good. But some people they don't even want to be known. How many whites have paid fees for us and you don't know who it is?
That is true.
They just pay and you never know their face, they never want to shop.
Yeah.
How much reward? As here, the moment you give somebody selfie, charity day, help to here,
Give it, it will come back to you.
So, when you explain your philosophy to whoever you respect, the second thing is, the third category is of friends. When they have crossed over and they have left you and have told you to be comforted because they move quickly, because their journey is separately different from yours. My pastor helped me. Today I look back, he was so accurate. He separated spirituality from level of vision and drive for life. We were all spiritual, but my dreams were so high. This girl didn't have any dreams, so to speak. She was just trying to get somewhere comfortable. Some people study to get somewhere comfortable where they can pay their bills and they settle there.
Yeah.
But he could sense fire in me. That warning saved me. Today I look and I realize we are worlds apart. She has found good life of our own, but we are nothing in common. So some of your friends, allow them to go on. Allow them to take off early, because where they are going is different from where you're going. And the other thing is, what you're destined for is very different from what they're destined for. The last category is, so we have talked about
we've talked about our elderly,
very good,
grandparents.
And then we have come to parents.
We're dodging those ones.
Very good.
And then we've talked about our parents. We are
and
very
their age
philosophical.
groups
And their age
aunties
groups.
who are parental, who greet you like my daughter,
My
son.
Those ones.
You
They're very
explain
straightforward.
your philosophy calmly.
Yes.
The other thing we said is your friends who have crossed, how shall you answer them? You answer them by saying, guys, I'm still coming, I'll take my time.
Yeah.
They'll be sending propositions to you, and some of the propositions are awkward. You wonder even how they thought of you to send a person like this. They don't know you. They're sending you somebody they will have dated.
Yes.
You cannot stand them. So what you do is you politely and kindly, with time, it becomes natural as you get used to it.
Yeah.
Tell them, I think, guys, that's okay, I appreciate but there's no connection. Appreciate hookups, but don't take them too seriously, just because the person will send you the hookup.
Yeah.
The last social pressure you'll encounter is church. When you have to introduce yourself that you're single, they ask you, how is your family? You don't have a family. I mean, children. I don't have children. So
they ask you twice there. Not children.
And other single people who don't approach you because they can't imagine you available, beautiful as you are, handsome as you are, established as you are, good as you are. They can't imagine. One person was asked why I used to single. He said, I'm overqualified. People overlook me and then go to the next person. So sometimes you have to tell people, you have to actually let them know you're single.
Yeah.
One way is to avoid ambiguous signals. Don't put pictures of men on your walls. Don't post men on. Don't put confusing rings. You ladies, we don't know rings. Please, during this time, don't confuse us with rings. Men can't read rings.
This is iron sheets, guys. iron sheets. My back.
So don't send confusing signals, and then make sure it's indicated single. We have discussed about social media ways of coming off as available.
Yes.
But most importantly, one is take initiative. For men, it's beginning chats courageously with women. For ladies, it's being available and even inboxing on normal topics of life. All single men are possible to talk to. When you're beautiful and you inbox me, I feel validated.
Okay.
Stop fearing. I don't know why ladies fear and men feel so validated when you inbox them. You may not know whether he's married or not, as some people may bash you, especially the wives who are holding their husband's phones.
Yeah. Yes.
Accept that as thorns in the hunting forests and take it as normal and move on. I tell you the truth, I know many people married because the lady initiated contact, but you don't tell him you love him or you like him. discuss his work, discuss his life, compliment him on his doing, start a conversation, that's all.
That's it.
Any conversation with a searching man is enough. In fact, he's so happy that you took the time to greet, to remind him we met at a certain conference. I wanted to know, how did you guys arrive? You said you did this and this. How is Kisumu? I was just checking on you. If you do that, and you did not even talk personally, you met some place and you managed to get him online and inbox him, that's very powerful. Then also go to those social media where your age group is. Social medias are categorized in groups. TikTok is majorly the younger group, 24 and below. Then we have Instagram, that group there, 25 all the way to 30 something. Facebook is the older group, the more. It was among the first ones to be popularized. So the people connected with it. I like
That's
that.
true.
You may be no social medias for marketing your products, but where you relate socially, should be a place where the grown group is. And don't hate social media saying people are fake. You're also a person and you're not fake and you're there. The real world is full of fake people. Virtual world is full of fake people, real people, real people.
Everywhere.
Yes, where human beings are, they will be mixed all over. So don't run away from any group. Yes.
You know, you started this conversation and I was just looking at myself and wondering, I'm weak. But then by the time you came to the end, I felt encouraged. Even when Dad plays those two songs, because his is very subtle. It will be a song. Then he will say, Mom, calls me Mom. Mom, come listen to this song. So I listen, it will be singing about Harusi, it's a wedding, and how the father of the bride is happy.
I know.
I'll be like, you've heard the song. Then my mother would be this, are you coming home this weekend? I'd say, I'm going for a baby shower. The next weekend, they're my friends, a baby shower. That was last year. I had loads of those. And I think at some point it got to, she said, you've been going to many baby showers. When is yours? But now I know how to respond respectfully to my dad. I know how to respond respectfully to my mom. And I hope that is what you've learned as well. For my sibling, James. Don't you dare. Adios.